Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the third session of the training on how to effectively communicate innovation in the bioeconomy sector when addressing consumers. So, in the previous training, we have dealt with the different topics. First of all, communication and innovation. Then we talked about what is a communication campaign. We talked about the European bioeconomy strategy and the importance of awareness raising. And finally, we talked about how to write an effective communication plan, mentioning all the steps and making some examples. During this session, we will explore what are the potential challenges in the bioeconomy sector. We will talk about regulations, technology gaps, investment measures, and educational barriers. And we will also deal with the stakeholders' perception and the acceptance barriers and make some examples from the blue bioeconomy sector. So, first of all, we will talk about the barriers in the bioeconomy sector. So, the bioeconomy and the blue bioeconomy have grown rapidly worldwide, and as a result, expectations and challenges related to this sector have increased, often beyond what was originally anticipated. As we know, bioeconomy has the potential to create a more sustainable, resilient, and innovative future by harnessing the potential of biological resources in a way that promotes environmental protection, economic growth, and social development. As we can see from this picture in the slide, these can lead to better communities in terms of education, food security, and environment, but also better businesses and, in the end, a better planet through zero emissions, waste, and deforestation. Although the advantages of a bio-based economy are clear, there are many barriers to the successful transition from a fossil-based to a bio-based economy. This is the case especially for small and medium-sized enterprises that, compared to larger companies, have fewer resources and are less well represented. Nevertheless, the European Commission considers small-medium enterprises and entrepreneurship in general as a key to ensuring economic growth, innovation, job creation, and social integration in the EU. So, during this session, we will see the main challenges that may exist in the bioeconomy context and what are the barriers that prevent consumers' acceptance, also through specific examples in the blue sector. So, an example first. In the framework of a European Union project, which was called the Biobase for Small Medium Enterprise project, a study was conducted in 2018 in which 50 bioeconomy small medium enterprises and a small representation from the Northwest Europe region were interviewed about the barriers they faced. The small-medium enterprises were from various sectors, from developers of bio-based materials, chemicals and fuels, to providers of biotech tools and services. These SMEs were presented with 43 potential barriers to their businesses, falling into 9 broad categories, which we can see here. So demand side policy barriers, regulatory barriers, investment barriers, stakeholders perception barriers, hurdles for efficient collaboration, policy barriers, intellectual property related hurdles, feedstock related barriers, and human resources barriers. The 4 barriers you see in light blue clearly came out as the most important ones. These major barriers are recognized by various policy instruments on a regional and European level. For example, the updated European bioeconomy strategy adopted by the Commission, as we said, in October 2018, does aim to facilitate access to both private and public investment, identify regulatory barriers to bio-based development, and also promote bio-based standards. So these barriers you see in light blue are already important for the European Commission, who is trying to address them in a proper way. So let's go now more in depth and analyze these four important barriers one by one. So the first we have, and that emerged also in these interviews that were conducted within this project, are investment barriers. So investment has long been recognized as a major barrier to bringing innovations to market by various policy instruments on a regional and European level. For example, the Europe 2020 strategy recognized that research and development spending in Europe was below that of the USA and Japan, mainly as a result of lower levels of private investment. This is also confirmed in the survey results that were conducted within this project, where some SMEs mentioned that they found it difficult to explain their business to investors, and others highlighted the difficulty that investors want return on investment sooner than the sector can deliver, or that investors are sometimes risk averse. So the second barrier, the second most important barrier are demand-side policy barriers. One of the challenges within bioeconomy innovations is that manufacturers wait until there is a clear market demand before they commercialize technologies, but buyers wait till the product is on the market before they buy it. More specifically, in the study conducted within the project, according to many small-medium enterprises, commercial frameworks are not yet developed to promote bio-based products. They found indeed a lack of incentives, taxations, market support to be a very high barrier. So the third type of barriers are regulatory barriers. Regulations, whether general or sector-specific regulations, can have a profound effect on innovations, and it can happen that regulations can block innovation. In general, regulators struggle to match the pace of changes in technology and market appetites. So also technology can block innovations, and not addressing technological gaps can be a problem. For example, improving methods across value chains is crucial for preserving coastal bioresources, developing sustainable technologies. Enhancing infrastructure and technology to achieve efficient and sustainable harvesting, processing, and utilization of marine resources is essential, but it requires a change in regulations, being aware of what change in technology is needed. This is also linked to the importance of addressing knowledge gaps. There are many knowledge gaps among policymakers, businesses, and the public, which can contribute in the end to slower adoption of bioeconomy innovations. Limited expertise and trainings in bioeconomy-related field reduce innovation capacity and reduce industry growth. And since establishing a proficient workforce through educational and training initiatives to bolster the expansion and sustainability of the blue bioeconomy is crucial. So an example of these the utilization of all fish raw materials faces obstacle upstream due to a lack of information on collecting fish skins and uncertainty about what to do with leftover bones and heads from primary processing. So investments in education is essential in this case for addressing these problems. In this regard, in recent years, considerable efforts have been made towards developing appropriate bioeconomy education and training programs in order to support the transition towards a circular bioeconomy at different levels. We have higher education and academic approaches, we have vocational education and trainings, and practical approaches, short-term trainings and education approaches. So we now move to the most interesting barriers, at least from our point of view, that could be somehow addressed through a good communication. So these barriers are the barriers related to stakeholders' perception and acceptance. First of all, stakeholder perception is recognized as a barrier by the European Bioeconomy Strategy, which says that to realize the potential of the bio-based sector, this sector needs to be further promoted for its positive impacts and to be on equal footing with the market and regulatory conditions vis-à-vis fossil-based industries. To make this happen, however, it is necessary to face and address certain challenges that usually concern, first of all, the fact that sometimes consumers are exposed to commercial practices that are deceptive and confusing and weaken their motivation to buy sustainable products. This could be greenwashing, pricing premium for sustainable products, limited availability and accessibility, or complex recycling and disposal instructions. Then we have knowledge and skill gaps that we also mentioned before that create fear for the unknown and increase concerns over the performance, the safety or sustainability of bio-based alternatives. Then we have cultural and behavioral factors such as resistance to change and lack of trust in novel technologies that may demotivate consumers. And finally, we also have lack of labeling in terms of environmental performance, origin, that make bio-based products not visible enough sometimes. Communication, if used in a proper way, can be a powerful mean to address these challenges. And we will see these through an example. So this is an example from the blue bioeconomy sector. So we are introducing marine bioactive compounds from fish processing residuals and algae for industrial applications, such as cosmetics and nutraceuticals. In this case, significant barriers to consumers' acceptance need to be addressed. The first, that we mentioned before, is consumer perception and skepticism. One of the most prominent barriers is indeed the potential negative perception of using fish byproducts and algae in products intended for health and beauty. Consumers may indeed associate residuals with waste or low quality, which can lead to skepticism about the safety, the efficacy, and the overall desirability of these ingredients. Additionally, algae-based products may conjure images of unpleasant smells or textures, further deterring interest. In this case, clear and transparent communication emphasizing the purity, the scientific backing, and the environmental benefits of these ingredients is essential to dispel these misconceptions. Then we have another concern, which may be the lack of familiarity. Marine bioactive compounds and algae-based ingredients are not yet widely known or understood by the general public. Many consumers are unfamiliar with the potential health and cosmetic benefits of these compounds, leading to hesitation in embracing products that contain them. So, effective consumer education campaigns that explain the scientific benefits such as anti-aging, antioxidant properties, and health-boosting qualities can be crucial in increasing familiarity and trust of consumers. So another barrier linked to consumers' perception and acceptance that we can see in this example is the sustainability messaging fatigue. With increasing awareness of environmental issues, consumers are regularly exposed to marketing that highlights sustainability. However, this overexposure can lead to skepticism or fatigue, where claims of sustainability may be dismissed as greenwashing, as we were saying before. For marine bioactive compounds, it is important to ensure that sustainability claims are backed by credible, verifiable data. Highlighting through communication, for instance, the full life cycle of the product from sourcing to production and its measurable impact on reducing waste can for sure help build authenticity and trust. Finally, we have the complexity of scientific language, which can be a very high barrier, because communicating the science behind the marine bioactive compounds can be challenging, as scientific terminology or technical explanations may alienate or confuse consumers. Simplifying the language and presenting the innovations in easy to understand terms are essential for broad consumer appeal. And in this case, communication can help a lot. For instance, visual storytelling, practical demonstrations of benefits, for instance, before and after skin treatments, can help bridge the gap between science and consumers' understanding. So, to conclude, the transition towards a more sustainable bioeconomy is a complex process, since it requires transformative policies, purposeful innovation, access to finance, risk-taking capacity, as well as proper investment measures. For sure, research and innovation are strategic to alleviate threats created by regulatory and policy challenges. Convergence and synergy between the bioeconomy, the Sustainable Development Goals, circular economy initiatives, and the EU Green Deal can be a good starting point to harmonize regulations and policies. Moreover, education and knowledge transfer can be essential to enhance consumers' interests, knowledge and awareness of the bioeconomy, and to develop skilled workforce and talent resources. Third, since the bioeconomy spans a wide range of sectors from agriculture and forestry to biotechnology and marine industries, achieving effective interdisciplinary collaboration between different sectors, industries and stakeholders is extremely necessary. And addressing these challenges we have listed will indeed require coordinated efforts from governments, industries, research institutions and local communities to create a sustainable, innovative and resilient bioeconomy. Finally, changing people's attitude is often very hard due to consumer skepticism, the scientific language barrier and the sustainability messaging fatigue. However, if the bioeconomy is to be a key part of society in the next decades, the current top-down approach needs to be balanced with greater societal involvement at all stages, setting goals, defining the agendas, and participating in assessments. And in this regard, proper communication channels should be used to increase the public's transparency and awareness. In the next training, we will focus on the BlueRev project and see some examples of innovations in the bioeconomy sector and communication initiatives in the BlueRev pilot regions, which are Denmark and Greenland, Estonia and Italy. Meantime, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact the APRE team at the email addresses you read here. We will see you for the next training.